rolling farmland of North Dakota is one of the heartlands of a revolution that's transformed the world's energy landscape in the past decade, the US shale oil boom. The state's production, which was less than 250,000 barrels per day at the start of 2010, rose to a peak of more than 1.2 million barrels per day at the end of last year. North Dakota's had an oil industry since the first discovery was made here more than 60 years ago, but this is the biggest boom the state has ever seen. A network of hundreds of oilfield supply companies like Petroleum Services here in Williston, which maintains and repairs drill bits and other equipment, sprang up to serve the booming industry. After the oil price slump since last summer, though, it's got much quieter here. The number of rigs drilling for oil in the area has dropped from almost 200 last October to just 80 last week.
You could see around up here, it used to be busy around lunchtime. Right now it's slowed down, and our business is down by 50%. We're coping with cutting the cost with our suppliers, cutting the cost with our services, and we are coming up with some layoffs. We did some layoffs a couple months ago, and if it's the oil price going to be same like this, then we're going to do some more.
The boom in the Bakken Shale has been one of the biggest surprises in the history of the global energy industry. People have known for a very long time that the oil was here, about 2 miles down below my feet. What they didn't know was how to get it out. Part of the answer was hydraulic fracturing. These trucks are loaded with sand, which is mixed with water and chemicals and pumped into wells at high pressure to crack the rock and let the oil flow out. The other key element was horizontal drilling, running wells straight down for 2 miles, then round a corner and then sideways for a further 2 miles to expose a greater area of oil-bearing rock. The problem is that extracting oil this way is a relatively high cost, certainly much higher cost than it is in the Middle East. The crazy days of the oil rush in Williston are over. Boomtown USA is not really booming anymore. But people here believe the industry can survive.
Technology drives this thing, so as technology continues to get better for the oil and gas industry, I think their recovery rate becomes better. 2015 is probably going to be a quiet year, but we see the price bouncing back to what I would call the new normal for Williston. And what that price yet is probably yet to be seen. But I think everybody's fairly confident that we're going to the prices are going to come back and we're going to be fine.
The industry here has been through cycles before, and it'll go through cycles again. The people of North Dakota believe it's still on a rising trend.
We have a very valuable resource here in the state of North Dakota, and so we're optimistic that this will turn around, hopefully.
To bring the rigs back and get production growing again, oil prices will have to rise higher than the present level of about $60 per barrel, but perhaps not too much higher. The technology is still evolving rapidly, and costs are falling.
$70 per barrel. WTI $70 per barrel would keep us going. But at the same time, when the rig goes down, it ain't gonna come up just right away. So the drillings, even the price goes up, the drilling ain't gonna go up that fast. That's my belief. So if the rig goes down, it's at least 6 months before it comes up.
The fate of North Dakota's oil industry is vital for global energy supplies and hence for the world economy. The message from here is that the industry is adjusting to lower prices and will be able to sustain production and perhaps even return to growth, with prices well below last year's peak levels of over $100 per barrel. Anyone elsewhere in the world, in Russia, in the Middle East or Venezuela for example, who'd like higher oil prices, may turn out to be disappointed. And if you want to hear more on this subject, the US oil boom will be one of the subjects up for debate at the FT's Energy Strategies Summit in New York on May the 14th.